that was a really fun game. That like Sekiro is basically it's an action puzzle game. Like really, that's what it is. Honestly, that's the way I like to describe a lot of the Souls games. But there was one thing I was going to bring up earlier about puzzle games. The games that really make sense to me are less of the. You wouldn't really consider it a puzzle game, but when you think of it at like an abstract level, it kind of is. When you have like really complex platformers, like a game like Celeste, where it's like the platform is incredibly challenging, but a lot of the challenge also comes from working out how to navigate between like around the level. Like it's not just a matter of getting your jump timing correctly. It's like where do I even start to look at this problem? Once you get to some of the like later areas in that game, they get really, really complex, especially when you start doing like B sides and then try out C sides. Things get ridiculous very quickly.
Yeah, I haven't personally played the game, but I've seen some gameplay from like early stages and then some from the late stages. It's just like the late stages, all I'm seeing is just the character floating because it's like just one of those things of like, oh, I've got to dash and jump and
Yeah, it introduces
jump
new
off this
mechanics
thing,
as well
use
to
these
jump
walls,
around.
and
Yeah,
it's yeah. By the end, I'm like, okay, this is just like a Mario Maker level where the creator was like, I'm gonna make everyone hate me by
there
making this
are
like a 1% pass rate.
there are a lot of modders have gone insane with that game. Like there are some levels which are basically designed to only be Taz possible, and some people try to do them by hand, but they're like you need pixel precision movement for like 20 jumps in a row, like crazy things like that.
Yeah. No, I have heard about some of like the modding and stuff like that. In I can't remember if it was the Games Plus Discord or the Adelaide Adelaide Game Developer Discord. There are a couple of people there that worked on some of the mods for the games and stuff like that, and like yeah, they get like modders in general are crazy. Like some of the stuff that they pull off. Oh, that reminds me of the it was I think it was a couple of weeks ago. There was the Fallout London, which was like just the
Yeah.
Fallout 4 mod, like fan made mod, where it was like, oh yeah, we're just like recreating massive sections of London and all this. And, oh god, I want to have a shot of playing that just to see like what they've done with it, but like it does seem like it's a little finicky and complicated to get going because like Bethesda brought out the next gen update and apparently that just messed everything up for them because they've spent like however many years making this mod, and then Bethesda
I
comes through and
remember
it's like, oh,
seeing
we're going to
like
change this.
stuff for it like 5 to 7 years ago, like when I first got my like YouTube account. Like I was super into Fallout at the time because I was playing through 4, so I was watching a lot of content for it. And then yeah, so like Fallout Miami was another one that like I think either it was the same people sort of working on or like like that same kind of vibe. It's just like a huge mod. But yeah, then yeah, London is like, oh wow, this looks wicked. Is this like an actual thing? And it's like, no, it's just a fan made thing. And it's like, wow. And then yeah, I hear it's going to be released, and then see articles about how they've had to push back the date because Bethesda released their next gen update. And I think their quote was Bethesda never learns, which I chuckled at, but it was that thing of like, I don't have that same sort of understanding of it at like that level that they do, but it's like I can see how them just jumping in and fixing up some stuff and playing with things on the back end without sort of discussing with these people that have been working on this massive thing for however many years, it's going to affect them, sort of thing.
Yeah, I hadn't really been following that game, but I do occasionally pop into things like Skywind and Skyblivion, which for anyone who doesn't know is remaking Oblivion and Morrowind in Skyrim, and like I can only imagine just the amount of effort something like that takes and the amount of passion you need to have to make something like that.
Yeah. No,
I can only strive to have that much passion.
No, I just remember seeing memes and stuff like that. That was, kind of quotes from people basically saying how like, if people aren't being paid, they'll be so lazy. And then it's like, oh yeah, here's like that Minecraft mod or map that's like the like Library of Alexandria with like all these like forbidden texts and things like that that people in other countries don't have access to. And I'm just like, Yeah, seems about right. Like, if people are passionate enough about it, they don't care about being paid or not. Like, they will just make that thing. So it's like, definitely, like, yeah, like you got Fallout London, you've got like, yeah, the Morrowind and Oblivion and stuff like that being made in Skyrim, and it's just like, if people are passionate enough about it, they will just do that thing.
Absolutely. Like, I don't know, modders are another beast.
They're a different breed.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Like, especially seeing some of the stuff that they can pull off. Like, I mean, Skyrim and Fallout 4 are definitely like two of the bigger, more well-known ones. Like, especially Skyrim. Like, modding scene behind that's ridiculous. But you know, seeing that and it's like, oh yeah, I made a mod for Skyrim. I turned it into an 8-bit dungeon crawler, and it's just like, first off, why? Second off, what?
Like there are other games that have this as well. Usually, it's any game that has like a big scene around it is always going to have at least a couple of people who are like, this is my time to shine. Even if the devs don't provide any like dev tools, you'll still find people who are like, I am going to spend all this time working it out. And especially when it's a custom engine, right? Like if it's a game built in Unity and Unreal, like that gives the people who are doing modding at least something to work off of. But if it's some like weird custom engine, this is the first game using it, and people still work it out. I get I think back on like the people who were doing like early Pokemon ROM hacks. Like nowadays there is a lot of tooling available to easily do ROM hacking, especially for the GBA stuff. There's a lot of stuff there for DS stuff as well. But if you go back to like the early stuff, people were modding the ROM files directly. They weren't using any of these fancy tools, but you can just like drag and drop shit around and easily create new areas. Like they were writing assembly and actually building crazy shit.
Oh yeah.
Recite the ancient text to me, which I was there when they were written.
Oh yeah. No, like I mean, it's definitely one of those things of like, you know, founding modders and stuff like that. Like, yeah, people who are taking like, you know, Pokemon Red and Blue and like all this stuff and emulating. It's like the amount of work that they have to do to work out like how this is working and how I'm gonna be able to do anything in this is insane. Like nowadays, it's like, you know, even just modding stuff nowadays, it's like a lot of people use like Nexus Mod Manager and stuff like that, and it's like, you know, back in the day when you first started doing it was like, I know you need these files, you need to put them in here, you need to edit this, so then that looks at this file, and like there was so much stuff. And it's like nowadays it's just like, no, we made an entire custom program. It'll just, you just click a button, the mod is in, it works.
Like I started playing Minecraft back during the beta, and back then there was like, I think very early beta, like 1.31, something like that. And there was a modding scene back there. Like there was no tools for it, but people were putting mods together, and there were a lot of like early mod packs coming out back then, and trying to get those mods to work together when there was a lot of overlapping like item data. And the people who put together like the early like Feed the Beast and things like that, those were crazy people.
Yeah. No, I remember. I don't even know when I first mucked around with Minecraft, but I remember, like watching other people play it and seeing like some of the shaders and like EMBs and like all that sort of mod stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll give that a shot. I just remember it was like an entire day trying to get one shader to work, because it's just like there's like basically no tutorials or nothing I'm following to get this to work. It's just like, okay, this guy said in this one YouTube video to do this thing. I found this online forum where this guy's saying do this thing as well. Excellent. Now some stuff's working.
Yeah, I was at that point just trying to download a bloody texture pack. Like back in the day of like Minecraft.net or whatever it was. And it was like, okay, is this one going to give me a virus? Oh, it has. Oh no, then this is my family computer. Why is it screaming at me? What's an ad fly? I don't understand.
Yeah, we've already gone through that plenty by that point with LimeWire, so you know.
Oh yeah, those good old days of like, oh hey, I want this particular thing. Okay, now let's play the gambling game.
I wanna download New Divide by Linkin Park. Why have I got a virus?
I just like Transformers, man. Come on.
Oh god.